25 years ago over in Las Vegas, Nevada at the First Foursquare Church, Dr. Higginbottom. And what a journey that it's been. The Bible said the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. Now, Steve just said about the contrast of Las Vegas. They're passing out religious tracts, and they're also passing out sensual, sexual appealing tracts. The day of the Lord shall so come as a thief in the night, meaning that mankind's not going to be aware of it. Because if we knew what day was going to come, we would keep our eyes open and be awake. And we're not awake. America's asleep. America's asleep on its own selfishness and the fact that we have been living in a nation so blessed. How many of you spend 16, 18 days out in exposure to the weather and the climate and the possibility of being killed at any moment to protest your environment, the slavery, the bondage that the Egyptian people did? And now they're going to have a change of government. Many are afraid that it's going to be the Muslim Brotherhood that's going to take over Egypt and Asia and many parts of the world. But we're not really interested in that in America because we are too inclined to be Disneyland people. Now, whenever I say that, my family and I, we've been, I was at the opening of Disneyland, 1955, I believe it was June of 55. But that is a land of fantasy, make-believe. But it really becomes a reality. Now we've got a new study of the American Psychological Association that tells us that America is confronted with possibly the greatest disaster that we have ever been confronted with, and that is that we have become desensitized to reality. Now, whenever my grandkids come over to my house, if they're sitting at my table or we're out to eat, I don't like for them to be using those little, I'm text messaging something. Well, now they have an addiction to that. American Psychological Association has identified it, given it a name. And now they are telling us that our children and our grandchildren and some adults are having a difficult time of deciphering reality from fantasy. What I've been preaching on the last few Sunday mornings, and it's evident that no one really cared. Or I should say a few that care. I've been able to separate fact from fiction. Now, we are confronted with, and this is now becoming a national, worldwide discussion over the desensitization of our children on violence, human value. They don't think anything today of the value of a life. The virtual reality that they are, or I should say that we are confronted with. I watched a news report this week on the study of virtual reality that we're coming now, and our televisions are high definition. We can sit there with 3D and we can live our life in virtual reality. Now, virtual reality is a fantasy world. But we can inject ourselves into this fantasy, which the religious church has done very effectively. not knowing the difference between day and night, between good and evil. We become a church that's neither hot nor cold, but lukewarm. Because the virtual reality, the school system today is confronted with children going into that school with no social skills or social values. Why? Because we had rather escape reality. You go to Disneyland, you go there to escape. I remember the movies back whenever I was a little kid. We went every Saturday morning to watch Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, Hopalong Cassidy, Lash LaRue, I can name them all. And it was so exciting. Now today you wouldn't spend time watching that stuff. But so corny. But then whenever it came to the end of that 30-minute or hour episode, and the stagecoach with old Gabby Hayes was just going over the cliff, it'd say continued next Saturday morning. Could not wait till next Saturday morning, because that was an escape. You got to feel the threat, you got to feel the danger without really being exposed to it. Whenever we look at what we are confronted with today, a virtual reality, they've got machines that they can hook you up to, and you can project yourself. And you can have a relationship with dead people that have been gone a long time. You can inject yourself into the movie Gone with the Wind and live the Civil War days. How do we separate fact from fiction? How is it possible that we can come into a place of spiritual therapy where that we can regain a value that God instilled in our hearts and in our mind, called, David said, my heart searches after God. Yes. And the heart paineth after the water brook, even so my heart searches after God. The difference between reality and escape. Got all kinds of movies now, 20 coming from one production companies on escaping the reality of what is on the face of the earth. Left Behind, the Rapture. You say, well, why are you talking about these things? Because that is a spiritual, virtual reality that is a fable, and we cannot separate it. And it allows us to feel like that, well, I am a Christian. I've cried out, God, I want you, and that's about it. God's got obligation to snatch me out before I go through any trial or trouble. That's what they came to Paul in the church of Corinth and said, Paul, we're preaching that if you believe in Jesus, you're never going to die. That's what Jesus said. If you believe in me, you'll never die. And said, we're burying them every day. What are we going to do? How is it that we're going to face the reality that life comes to an end? And Paul said, I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them that are asleep. The church and the end of the world. Now, my wife gets so absolutely disgusted with me because I watch Jim Baker from time to time and Jimmy Swaggart. She said, I don't know how people can follow them. I don't know how. And God bless their heart, they speak us with a forked tongue. They talk about how that they're going to be raptured out and how that you can buy survival stuff to make it through a tribulation. I want to talk to you this morning out of John, the 19th chapter and the 30th verse.